I'm Sebastian St. James. Where should you keep your money? The question is, where do the wealthy keep their money, and can you keep your money in the same place? This is Michael Jackson. Michael was close to foreclosure on his famous Neverland Ranch. Large amounts of spending required Jackson to take out loans, many which he never paid back. At the time of his death, a forensic accountant estimated that Jackson owed $400 to $500 million, so he died in debt. Okay, let's ignore famous singers because their skill set is to sing, maybe to dance, but not to manage money. They've done none of that throughout their career. This is Nicolas Cage. In 2015, reports started to emerge about how Nicolas Cage blew his $150 million fortune between 1996 and 2011. The IRS placed tax liens on multiple properties he owned, then had Cage hand over more than $6 million for failing to pay his 2007 tax bill. Cage's precarious financial situation led him to sell many of his personal belongings, including a treasured comic book. Well, it must have been an impressive comic book if it comes up in my research. So, let's ignore actors. You know, their skill set is to act. Some of them not very well. Throughout their career, no part of being an actor qualifies you to know anything about money. This is Mike Tyson, who declared bankruptcy before returning to jail and going through rehab. By 2003, he owed money to the IRS, British tax authorities, lawyers, and a personal trainer. Tyson had to pay $9 million in a divorce settlement and was also behind on child support. Never take financial advice from a celebrity. Celebrities are famous for one thing. For being a celebrity. Were they a famous singer? Maybe. Were they famous at sports? Maybe. Did they have a particular tape? Maybe. Perhaps that's what made them famous. None of that qualifies them to give or to even look at their life and take from that financial advice because it had nothing to do with their fame. So, I have drawn up a list of more qualified candidates who we can look at, find out where they're actually putting their money, and learn from that. We should look at billionaires, particularly if those billionaires made their money through investing, and CEOs. Why CEOs? Because they're money managers. That's part of being a CEO. The question is, are these billionaires keeping their money mostly in cash or in crypto, in bonds, in stocks which are publicly traded that you can buy, in stocks which are unlisted, so in private companies, or in property? Let's jump in and find out. This is Jeff Bezos, worth $177 billion. He made most of his money in business through Amazon, which you probably know already. His annual salary from Amazon in 2020 was $81,840. So basically, sort of middle-class salary. So, bulk of his money is actually coming through his Amazon stocks and the dividends that they're paying out and the amount that Amazon stock is going up in value. Bezos owns 10.3% of Amazon shares, so we know where his wealth is. This is Benard Arnault. $158 billion to his name. He made his money in business. In LVMH, if you don't know what that is, they own Christian Dior, Louis Vuitton, etc. Benard Arnault, his net worth is derived from his 97.4% stake in Christian Dior, 8.6% stake in Hermes. LVMH, is this some private company that you can't get access to? No, it's publicly traded. And here's its stock price right now. You can go ahead and buy that if you choose to. This is Bill Gates. Bill Gates is worth $129 billion. He made his money in business, in Microsoft. His dominant wealth is in Microsoft stock by far. Bill Gates did buy a Washington estate worth $125 million. $125 million, a massive amount for an estate for sure. But the question is, what percentage of his wealth is that estate? Well, I've done the math. 125 million divided by 129,000 million, well, billion if you like, is 0.1% of his wealth. So there you go. If you want to be like Bill Gates, when you buy your house, make sure it's 0.1% of your wealth. No more. This is Warren Buffett, worth $118 billion, made his money through investment, particularly through the vehicle of Berkshire Hathaway. Where does Warren Buffett hold most of his wealth? Well, he's been quite open about that when he's chatted to reporters in his Berkshire Hathaway shares. That's where it is. He's got tiny amounts like in cash or whatever, but it's basically straight up in Berkshire Hathaway. His home, well, he owns a middle-class home. The same home he's been in for like decades and nothing fancy. Coming up shortly, I'll have a new video out about Warren Buffett, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. So what have we learned from billionaires? Where is the best place to keep your money if you want to mimic their success? In cash, minimal. Enough to pay the groceries probably, but basically hardly any at all. Crypto, not that I'm aware of, and I've not heard of any of these people holding crypto. Bonds is sometimes a cash equivalent if you put it in treasuries, right? Because it doesn't earn very much, but it's a good way of keeping massive amounts of cash if you need it. But as a percentage of billionaires' wealth, virtually none. Stocks, virtually all of it. These are common stocks. What about private stocks like unlisted companies? Well, I'm not aware that these billionaires happen to own any. It's in their public traded stocks. In property, minimal. I'm sure they own a mega mansion, except for Buffett, he definitely doesn't. But as a percentage of their wealth, it's basically negligible. So, should we be investing in the most latest exciting thing, in NFTs or whatever celebrities are promoting tomorrow? The answer is no. As we've discovered, celebrities do not know the first thing about investing their money. In fact, most of them waste it. What we should be doing is looking at the billionaires and learning from them. And where do billionaires hold the majority of their wealth? In commonly traded stocks that you and I can buy. Do you know that Warren Buffett is not a value investor? Click here to find out why.